All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here today for our first of 5 Cisco validated live streams. Today, we'll be covering Catalyst SD-WAN AAR policy using remote color. My name is Carlo Bobiles. I'm community manager over on the Cisco Learning Network, and I'll be your host for today's session. If you are tuning in but have not officially registered for the program, I highly encourage you to do so by scanning the QR code on your screen. It'll be a good way to be notified of upcoming live streams and get the resources that are shared during the event and be informed when they are available. And now I just want to cover the Q&A portion, which utilizes the same QR code. So we want to go ahead and scan that QR code that's shown on the screen so that you can participate in today's activities. One important note regarding Slido is that participation for Q&A is exclusively for the live audience. So if you are catching this on demand at a later time, this Slido QR code may not be active. So it's just something to keep in mind. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and scan the Slido QR code to participate. So without any further delay, I apologize, I'd like to introduce today's speaker. Joining us today in today's topic of Catalyst SD-WAN AAR policy using remote color is technical leader, marketing engineer for Catalyst SD-WAN, part of the business entity or business unit, Karthik Kumar. Hello, Karthik. How are you doing today?
Hey, Carlo, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, glad you're here and looking forward to a great session. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to our first Slido question. Here we're asking, are you familiar with the Catalyst SD-WAN application aware routing solution? So your choices are, I have heard of the solution, or it's new to me, or I am familiar with the solution. And looking at the results, it looks like majority with 50%, 50 something, 56, 50%. I have heard of the solution. Great. Karthik, that's good to hear. So let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. Over to you.
Thank you, Carlo. Hi, everyone. Again, welcome again. That's good. I mean, like most of you are kind of familiar with application-aware routing. And without any further ado, let me go ahead and briefly introduce to your agenda today. So we'll talk about the remote color preference feature overview, why we built this feature, and then we'll take into further details on how to set it up. I'll have a live demonstration, so hopefully the demo gods are in my favor today, and I can show you the live demonstration. And there might be also a chance to look at the configuration that I have for this specific use case, and also some verification CLI commands. And with the last, I'll also present to you some guidelines and limitations, leaving you with a conclusion on the session. Feel free to ask any questions you have in the chat panel, and let us know how we can help you. Okay, all right. Let's look at the overview here. So if you look at the remote color preference in application-aware routing, so imagine you have your branches at the bottom and you have your hub locations or your data centers at the top, and you have like unequal transports. Maybe at the data center you have like your internet circuit in the data center, and at the remote branches you probably have like multiple transports as shown here. So you might have an LTE transport, and you might have some internet transports, like one could be like gold color, and there could be like business internet. So you might have broadband, different types of transports at the branch. And in this case, there are certain things that you would like to do is with application aware routing policy. When the traffic leaves, let's say from your branch and hits the data center, you might say the traffic goes via the business internet circuit over to your applications in data center. However, today, without this capability, the return traffic coming back from your, let's say, from your data center, and you want to use the return traffic to also prefer business internet, then that would require complex setup of policies, and you have to have like loopback as T-lock. You have to use tunnel groups. So it's quite complex today. And Now it could happen that like the return traffic might actually go via the LTE circuit, which you don't want to send it through that circuit. And that is why we had this capability now with 2015, where the traffic coming from the data center towards the remote branch, it can also use the circuit that is like preferred at the remote color. So maybe custom one. So the traffic can be symmetrically flown from the branch. Let's say the traffic goes via custom one to the data center. The traffic, return traffic from the data center also chooses the custom one remote color at the branch. So that because the LTE circuits are kind of like metered circuits, so they're like high cost. Customers or you don't have a requirement to use those circuit. Whenever there is a degradation happening on the path, that's when you would like to put the traffic on those circuits. Otherwise, like if it's meeting SLA, you would always want to prefer keeping your circuit on the business internet. Use that circuit for your traffic in both directions. So that's what like remote color preference would do in application aware routing policy. We also support this in data policy to be consistent. So now using remote color preference, you can tell to the hub site that you can you can basically you can influence the traffic for the return path as well from the data center towards the branch. So net remote color preference will give you an option where as a administrator you can go to the data center or hub location, and you can set up a policy saying you choose my remote color at the branch as custom one for critical application traffic. And now the LTE circuits are like high cost, and those circuits are not going to be used and without any complex setup at the data center. So it really simplifies your data center or hub configuration drastically without having to do all sort of tunnel groups or loopback ST locks at the data center. Okay, now we can have like multiple colors when you specify the remote color preference. So you can say custom one, gold, and it will pick if the SLA is met, it would pick custom one or gold. And it can take multiple colors. Currently, like there are some caveats as you can see here. So like if you have remote color preference used, then you cannot use remote T-lock option. So that is not supported. So only so they're mutually exclusive. System will throw an error. And also, like if you have a remote color preference, currently only single tier is supported. So you can have like a single primary level of preference. So you cannot have like primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors for remote colors like you have for your local colors. Okay, so that's about the remote color preference in AAR and data policy. Now let's look at the working details of this capability. So imagine like I have two locations here. So one is a spoke site, and I have the hub site here, and I have different transports at the spoke or the branch site 700. So I have like custom one, I have an LTE connection, and on the branch on the hub location on the data center, I have like the business internet. So now, if you look at the traffic flow for these two applications, like from these two endpoints, you can see that the traffic can take all these different combinations of tunnels. If assuming all these tunnels meet the SLA, the traffic can go from custom one to custom one tunnel, or it can go to LTE to custom one tunnel, and custom one to custom two tunnel, or LTE to custom two tunnels. So it can have like you can use all these four tunnels to send the traffic without any policy. Now, you could, as I mentioned, like as an administrator, you can have an AAR policy and say, hey, for my applications that are in the data center, I would want to use custom one uh, for my traffic for meeting SLA. So prefer custom one. You can set that policy. But the problem that we spoke about is the without remote color, the problem we have is the return traffic from the data center towards the hub location. It can pick your LTE color, which is high cost, and you don't want to put that traffic on that link. So that's in a nutshell, like why we develop this capability is with now with 20.15 and 17.15 software release. As an administrator or user, you can simply go to your manager, and then you can set up a remote preferred color, and you can say, hey, what are your remote colors that you would want me to prefer at the hub or DC location. And with this simple knob, we'll be able to put the traffic into the desired circuits. So now the traffic will take the desired circuit from custom one to custom one, all the way to your for your applications. So that's about the remote color. So now in this case, it will always choose custom one to custom one tunnel, even though you can have like four tunnels. And then when there is some impairment happening, then based on the SLA criteria, the traffic will be again, we'll go through that in detail in the demo. And I'll show you this scenario with the remote color, how the SLA, how the SLA breach happens, and how we switch, how we drop traffic, or how we switch traffic to other tunnels that are meeting SLA. Okay. All right. So with that, let me just jump to the demo, and let me switch my screen here. All right. So let me go ahead, and this is my manager right here, and you can see I have. Let me go. Yeah. So you have so I have 2015 software release, and you can see I'm running 20.15.1, and I have like four managers, and these are my validators, which are vBonds in the older naming convention. I have two controllers or vSmarts and one manager, and four managed devices. So for our demo topology that we have, let me flash the topology we have. So we have site 700 and site 600. So let's go to the site 600, which is my DC site, and I can show you quickly what it looks like. So I have custom one and custom two colors, and then I have a configuration group set up here, and you can see there is a configuration group set up here, right here. And then you can also see I have a policy group associated to this device. And currently, like there are some SLA triggers happening. That's because I was testing this out before this for this presentation. So you can see there are a lot of SLA change events happening. And then if you look at the other tools here, you can you can go look at simulate flows here. So if you look for current traffic flow without any policy from 10.6.100.60 towards our client 10.7.100.60. Yeah, if you look at the current current paths it's gonna choose either of these four tunnels. As I described earlier, it can go to custom one to LTE, custom one to LTE, or custom two to custom one, or custom one to custom one. Now this is without the app, without the policy. Now let me go ahead and show you the policy here. So let's go to configuration, policy groups, and I have a policy for remote preference. Let me just expand this and kind of go over the policy here. So I have a policy here, and what I'm doing for remote color right now is this one right here, number 4. So let me zoom a bit if it is not visible for the folks. So if you look here, what I have is under action, you can see when we have preferred color, now we also have a remote preferred color. So under actions, once you have the SLA selected, you can see there's a remote preferred color option populated. So now, if you look to here, I'm saying choose remote preferred color as custom one and MPLS. And then I'm saying also to restrict. What restrict does is, let's say if the tunnels are not meeting SLA for remote color custom one and local color custom one, then the traffic when the SLA is not met will be dropped. And we'll see that in the demo. So I have also set up the restrict here. Now this is for application aware routing policy. Even for data policy. Now let's say you can also have you can also have you can add a rule, and you can also set up a data policy and say action. So let's match on an application, and then you can add an action here, and you can select even for the data policy remote preferred color. So the same thing, so you can also select for data policy as well. I am showing only the application aware routing policy, since I wanted to monitor the SLA and react on path issues like loss, latency, and jitter. I'm not showing the data policy demo here. However, it is still applicable for data policy as well. You can see here. So I'm not gonna change anything or add this rule, and just come out of this. So this is how you would set up the remote preferred color, and the restrict. If you have restrict selected, it's going to show up here. So this is the policy, and let me go ahead and cancel from this. Now let me go ahead and apply this policy. So let's go ahead and apply this policy under the policy group, and let's select the remote preference. Let's save this policy. Now, once I hit save, I need to deploy this policy to my data center device. So let me go ahead and deploy this. Let's select the data center device, and let's hit next. And you could check to see what are the new CLIs that are going to appear. So if you look at the inline diff here, you would see that there are some new CLIs we are going to add for remote color preference. So you can see all this stuff like for application aware routing policy with remote preference. We're saying anything that matches certain traffic of interest in my case, and then we are going to select the preferred color for local as MPLS custom one, and also for remote preference. This is what is something new. So this release on 2015, you would see you'll also have a remote preference with remote color and remote color restrict when you enable restrict. So once this is reviewed, let's go ahead and push this policy down. Now you can check the deployment status right here. So and while this is coming to success, I have another tab open here, which we had an output of prior to the policy, how it was picking any tunnels that meets the SLA, how it was picking the traffic to choose one of these tunnels. Now with the remote color preference, if you go back to the topology, what we are saying is with remote color, we are saying always choose custom one, and choose custom one and remote color as custom one. So we're saying to only use this tunnel as our traffic for return traffic to be selected. So now once the policy is success, now let's go ahead and simulate the flows again and then see with the remote color policy what tunnel it is choosing right now. So now you can see with the remote color preference, it is the data center is choosing the remote color custom one on the remote branch site 700. If you look at it, so now the policy is in place. So now let's look at some of the some of the details here. So we have the remote color preference and policies set up now. So before what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna show you the topology here, and what I will do is I will introduce some impairment on the custom one tunnel, which is right now the traffic is using that tunnel. So I'm gonna introduce delay or latency on this tunnel, and with the remote color configured with restrict, we will see how the traffic would behave once we introduce the impairment like latency or delay. So for that, let me go ahead and show you some stuff on my devices here. Uh, let me uh, let me show you this information right here. So this is like you can see the devices right now for this is the data center device. Let me reconnect that device. Okay, let me show you some stuff here. So now that the remote color is selected, I'm gonna show you the policies from show SD-WAN policy from vSmart. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Okay, so I think that's the max I can go. So I can't make it any bigger. So if you see show SD-WAN policy from vSmart, you can see our policy that we have. So for remote preference AAR, we are saying to choose the remote color as MPLS and custom one, and we are enabling restrict. So now if you look at what I have done is to to see which tunnel the traffic is going, I have added some counters to the tunnels to see that the traffic is taking that particular tunnel between custom one and custom two here. So what I did is I added a so let me show you show SD-WAN run policy. Um, Yeah, so I have added an ACL which would just count the packets leaving that tunnel. So I'm matching on DHCP and I'm adding counters on custom 2 color and custom 1 color. And now let me clear some counters here. So I have some pings running on my so you can see from I have some ping traffic going through, and you can see the pings here. So and you can see now, let me clear the counters and look to see the counters again. So if you look at the counters here right now on the data center hub device, you can see the counters are taking the custom one color here. That's what as expected. And if you look at the if you look at my other device here, which is my remote branch. Let me connect to this device as well. So if you see on the remote branch, let me clear the counters here as well. So I match the traffic, and I'm checking, and again I'm checking whether the traffic is coming on the right tunnel. So I have different colors, LTE, custom one. You can see the traffic is hitting the custom one color. So this confirms that the remote color preference, you can see the counters increasing. That confirms that the traffic is put on the remote side on custom one color instead of LTE. So you can see that the LTE color doesn't have any counters here. So you can see the counters increasing. That confirms that the traffic is taking the remote color preference that is set up by the policy we have. So this confirms that, and I'm going to show you the SLA as well right here. So um, um, we have like tunnels going to different site. Like if you look at just for site 700, so you can see I have also enabled enhanced application aware routing. So this would use the data traffic to monitor the statistics like loss, latency, and jitter. So between these two devices, I have enhanced application aware routing enabled. So I have 4 tunnels here, and if you see if you see the SLA right now, for these for our for our real-time SLA, you can see all the tunnels are meeting the SLA here. And now with this in place, I'm also going to show you right now the traffic is taking the custom one local color and custom one remote color, and you can see the traffic counters increasing here. And now what I will do next is I'm going to impair this tunnel. I'm going to add a latency to go out of SLA. I'm going to add a delay of 200 milliseconds, and then we'll come back and look at this again. Okay, so let me go back now to my impairment. So right now you can see the traffic is going and it is picking the right tunnel, and we saw the counters also confirm that it is using the remote color custom one on the remote branch. Now this impairment, I have a device that using this CLI, it is going to add some impairment. So this command would add an impairment of 200 milliseconds. And so I'm gonna add this right now. So once I add the impairment, you can see the latency is increasing to 200 milliseconds right now. And you will see that we have configured our remote color preference, and we have set the option as restrict. Now when we are out of SLA, what restrict does is it's gonna drop the traffic. So if I go back to my device in here and look for the custom one and custom one tunnel, you can see the latency is going 86, uh, and now the latency is getting added. So the latency, like we have an SLA set of 100 milliseconds latency. So once it crosses the 100 milliseconds, it's going to go out of SLA. So now let's check one more time and see for custom one and custom one. If the now you can see the latency, the SLA has crossed, and you can see SLA class index 2, you can see the mean latency is 153, and it is out of SLA, and it is removed from this. It is removed and it is out of SLA. So if you go back to our requirement, our criteria, what we said is when it is out of SLA, we restrict. So the traffic should not go. And if you see right now, the traffic will traffic is dropped. So you can see the timeouts. So that confirms that when it is out of SLA, we have a restrict option and the traffic is getting dropped. Okay, so that is how we can check how the remote color preference is behaving when we add impairments. Now let me go ahead and remove the loss, remove the latency or delay. Again, I have a CLI command that would delete or that would remove the latency. And now if I take out if I remove the delay or latency introduced, now what will happen is, because I have enhanced application aware routing configured, the tunnel will undergo dampening. So what it will do is it will wait for certain duration to see if it is meeting SLA for certain duration, and then it is going to put the traffic back on that tunnel. So if you look at the output again here, you would see for custom one color, you will notice to see right now it is still 140. So once it comes below like 100 is what is the threshold. So once it comes there, it will so right now you see the dampening index is none. So right now it's not undergoing dampening because it is still out of SLA. So let's check. So now what happens is, when we have yeah, so right now if mean latency dropped to 39, and you can see the SLA dampening index says 2, that means the tunnel is undergoing dampening. So right now, until it comes out of dampening, you will still see the traffic getting dropped. So I have set up I have set up a lower lower time interval for dampening. So the default dampening time interval is 20 minutes. So for our demo purpose, I reduced it to lower amount. So give it some time, like about 30 to 60 seconds, about 60 seconds. You should see that it will come out of dampening, and then again it will start to forward the traffic. So let's give it some time to get come out of the dampening. So we'll come to this. Yeah, now you can see after a minute, you can see that it came out of dampening, and now the traffic is flowing back. So if you look at this output here, the prior output, you will see that it yeah, it is forwarding the traffic again. You can see the 10 packets, the ping traffic, and all the tunnel, and this tunnel is meeting SLA. So again, the traffic is started flowing because it undergone dampening, and now it is forwarding the traffic. Okay. So this confirms the demonstration that I would want to show. So just to summarize, what we did is we checked the remote color, that the traffic is taking the remote color preference. We went to the device on the branch, and we checked the counters that it is coming on the custom one color. It was not picking the LTE. Then we introduced impairment of delay of 200 milliseconds. Because we had the restrict configured, we saw that the traffic got dropped after the SLA got breached. And now once the SLA starts to meet again, it underwent dampening. And after the dampening duration, which is 60 seconds, we saw that the traffic moved back into the tunnel, which is the preferred tunnel, custom one and custom one. Okay. All right, so that completes the demo. So now what I wanted to kind of also show you here is one other benefit we have with the network-wide path insights. So when you do a network-wide path insights, you can run a trace, and it will also, we have enhanced it to now show, like local color was shown earlier. So now it will also show the remote color. So it will give you like all this information. So in the network wide path insights, you can run a trace, and using that trace, you can completely look at the policy. So you can see the policy here. So the actual remote color is custom one, and then the preferred remote color is match remote color is MPLS custom one, and now it shows the custom one as the remote color, which is the actual remote color. So you can nicely see, like all this through network wide path insights, to see how the policies working. And you can also, like use the manager to look some of this information. And we have added the remote color here as well. Okay. Okay, now let me go back to the slides. Again, remote prefer color action. This introduces only support for single tier preference. You can take you don't have an option where you have a primary set of colors for remote color, secondary set of colors for the remote color preference, and then the tertiary. It's only one level, so it's a single tier that we support in the current release. We are also looking for inputs. If you have a use case, or if you have a business case, reach out to us. We can always try to get more information, whether you require like more capabilities, like than the single tier preference that we support today for remote color. And we support both in application aware routing policy and data policy. So let's say you have the same colors like MPLS and custom one in application aware routing policy and in data policy. Then data policy will take precedence, and it will choose the data policy. Now the restrict option, we talked about it. So in application aware routing policy, what does the restrict option do? So what it does is it basically says whenever you say restrict, it is going to look for application aware routing. It will check the SLA. If the SLA is not met, if the SLA is not met, then it is going to simply drop the traffic. All right. Now, when it is when restrict for data policy, what does it mean? Says like if there is a no route via that remote preferred color, then the restrict. That's what data policy will check as the criteria or the requirement for restrict in data policy, and then it will drop. It will. Now, when you have like in our example, we had both local color preference and remote color preference. They can coexist. You can see in our demo, we saw that. And it can also work with best of worst. So what is best of worst is like when none of the tunnels are meeting SLA. So like you have several tunnels, all the tunnels are out of SLA, then it will check best among the worst tunnels, and put the traffic on that. So when you have such thing, which we also say fallback to best path configured, and when you use remote color preference, we will still look to work in tandem with best of worst tunnels. So we'll still check for remote color preference, and see the tunnels that have remote color preference enabled, and then we'll select in that case as well. Now, when you have best of worst, remote color restrict shouldn't be configured, because when you say best of worst, the reason we choose that is the user or customer wants to forward the traffic, and it doesn't want to, even when the conditions are out of SLA, when the path conditions are there is like issues with the path. um, the path conditioning is not good. We still want to put the traffic and forward the traffic. We don't want to drop the traffic. So if you say if you have best of worst and use remote color restrict, that's not going to be applicable in best of worst scenario. Okay, just so this is like a quick eye chart, like how we do select the tunnels that have the local color preference and remote color preference. First, we will check all the tunnels that meet local color preference and remote color preference, and then if those colors are meeting SLA, if those colors are meeting the SLA. So let's say in our case, custom one and custom one was meeting SLA, so we'll use that tunnel and we'll put the traffic there. Like if we see that there are no tunnels that meet the SLA with the color preference, what we'll do is we'll first ignore the local color preference and we'll consider the remote color preference. So let's say the remote color preference is custom one, and we'll identify with this remote color preference what are the other tunnels available. Maybe there are like tunnels with uh, custom one and MPLS and some LTE. So then what we'll do is we'll see if these tunnels with the remote color preference, if there is any tunnel that matches and meets the SLA. If there is a, let's say, MPLS meets the SLA, then the traffic will be sent to this tunnel. So we'll use that tunnel. Let's say we still did not find any tunnel that meets the SLA. This time what we'll do is we'll ignore the remote color preference and we'll consider the local color preference. In our case, the local color preference was also custom one, but for simplicity case here, let's say we'll take MPLS as our local color preference. So again, the system will check if there are any tunnels with the local color preference MPLS, and remote color could be like LTE, or it could be gold. So it will check, uh, honoring the local color preference. If it sees there are two tunnels, and if one of the tunnels, like let's say MPLS and gold, meets the SLA, then it will use that tunnel. Now, if even in this case we don't find any tunnels that are meeting SLA, what we'll do is we'll ignore the color preference altogether, and we'll choose any tunnels that meet SLA. So let's say you have like 3G and LTE. These are like not configured as color, remote color or local color preference. So we'll check any tunnels like these, and if any of those meet SLA, we'll select that tunnel. So this is the logic that is built into the system. As a customer, this is something completely not required to be aware. We do this automatically, and we'll pick the right tunnel that honors the local color preference and remote color preference. All right. Now let's look at the configuration. These slides are going to be, we'll breeze through these really quick, because we already saw this in the demonstration in the manager that I showed. These are there for your reference. So I'm going to quickly, breeze through these slides, and you can take that as a reference later on. So if you want to go configure, remote color preference using the UX 2.0, I've shown you. This is how you would set up the remote color preference, and then you will see this. Now we also support in the data policy. I showed you that when you select data policy, you can also get a new action called remote preferred color, and then this is how it looks once the rule is created. And we also support in the old 1.0, like centralized policy as well. Now this is like when you add a new sequence under actions, you'll see remote preferred color, and you can select restrict if you're using restrict. And this is in the data policy. You'll see a new action, remote preferred color, and then you'll see an option. If you want to restrict, you can enable this. So this is again going back to 1.0, UX 1.0, the old centralized policy method. Now the configuration, we already went through this. So these are the new CLIs. So SLA class, remote preference, and remote color. And then if you have a restrict, then there's a restrict CLI. So these are the new CLIs. If you use the data policy, you will see remote preference and remote color and remote color restrict. Okay. To verify, we can see that one of the good way to verify this stuff is to monitor using network-wide path insights. You can run a trace, and you can get remote color, local color, and then you can see the policy, app route policy, and then the action. What's the matched colors and what's the actual color? So it's quite detailed here. So I highly encourage and recommend you all to use network-wide path insights. And if you are like a CLI geek, then we also have some show commands, show platform software SD-WAN policy bind summary. You can get the group ID, and then you input the group ID right here, and then you can see the similar output that you saw in the network-wide path insights. You can also see using these show commands, and you can also use the packet tracer, and you can like the platform packet trace, and you can also see the similar output here using the CLI. Okay. Again, these are here for your reference. Some of the guidelines and limitations quickly, like this is only supported on all CH platforms, and if you are using remote TLOC action, then you cannot use remote color preference. So this is going to be not supported. So they are like mutually exclusive. And I mentioned like right now, single tier remote color preference is what we support. There's no support for remote color preferred group that can do primary, secondary, tertiary colors, similar to the local preferred color group that we already support. That's not supported today. And again, if you need such support, let us know. Okay, the next slide of question. Carlo, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Karthik, for the demo and great presentation. So, in our second Slido question, go ahead and slide or scan that QR code and you'll be able to participate. We ask, do your customers require a remote color preferred group that offers options for primary, secondary, and tertiary colors? Just a yes and no, and it looks like majority of people have voted for yes. So it is something that the customers do require. Karthik, do you have any insight on that?
Oh, nice. Okay, good. That's a very good feedback. And actually, we are also looking for a roadmap on that. And glad that we have seen we have some interest on that. And definitely reach out to me after this session. I'd like to get gather more data points on that. My email address is kthatiko at cisco.com. So just drop me a note and let me know. I'll be happy to discuss that, and we are looking to evaluate on that. So definitely that input kind of helps us forward. Thank you for that.
Awesome. All right. So it looks like that concludes the end of our presentation. I do want to just let everyone know that before we do wrap up, we have a post-event discussion thread. So for those viewers that registered, they'll be emailed a link to the post-event discussion thread. If not, if you scan that QR code, we'll include that link. I believe it was asked in the question that you can go ahead and pretty much browse to the Cisco validated homepage over on the Cisco Learning Network. So let's go ahead and see if we can take some time for some questions before we actually wrap up. Let's see here. Karthik, first question that came up
Mhm.
is remote color preference supported on VH?
Okay, great question. Currently, like this feature is only supported on the Catalyst, SD-WAN edges with iOS XE SD-WAN. It's not supported, so it's supported only on the CH platforms, the Cat 8 case and Cat 8 KV. So it's not supported on any of the VH platforms.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Next question is, can this feature be used for any location to location traffic, not just between the DC and branches?
Okay, excellent question. Again, like this is the action or this is the tool we have now, and one of the primary use case that we were helping to address was when you have like unequal transports and you want to control traffic in in the both directions. Now, similar to that, it's going to be opening up doors for other locations where you have some similar requirements where you want to influence traffic on the remote color between different sites, and definitely you can use that. It is going to be completely possible and supported as well. Hope that
Gotcha.
answers the question.
Yeah, I think that answers all the questions for today's session. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we go ahead and start to close?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of flash my summary slide and take it towards the end and go from there. um, So net, like to summarize, right? So remote color preference, like the key takeaway here is when you have unequal transports and you want to make sure that you have different transport types like LTE, Starlink, future, like 5G, different types of transports at the branch, and you want to take advantage of making sure the traffic, takes when SLA is met, always prefers the the circuit that you has like larger bandwidth, right? I mean, like in this case, like this internet is more preferred for these critical application. You can use this, and in case like you don't want to when the path conditionings or when the things are out of SLA, you want to use the 5G, LTE, and other transports. That's when like this feature can help you. And when you have this kind of requirement, it's going to save you cost not using your circuits like 5G, LTE. These are metered links, we can see, and save costs on those links and only use them when SLA is not met on the primary links. So that's all in all. I hope this session is useful. With that, thank you for coming into the live stream and watching and present being here. Thank you all.
Awesome.
Over
Thank
to
you
you.
very much. Oh, thank you very much, Karthik, for again a great session and sharing your knowledge and expertise with the audience. I hope everyone found great value in today's presentation and that it is helpful with your day-to-day activities. So before we go, I do want to take a moment to cover some quick items. For our upcoming sessions, we have a live stream next month on October 22nd, or I'm sorry, this month on October 22nd. And for that topic, we'll be exploring the cross architecture lab. We hope you can join us for that live stream. And again, if you haven't already done so, definitely be, if you're on the slido.com page, we'll go ahead and link it there, as well as on the post event discussion thread, which will be emailed for attending today's session. Okay, lastly, we will go ahead and launch a survey on Slido. So if you haven't done so already, do go ahead and scan in and go ahead and do that. We would love your feedback. Let us know how we did, and because we're always looking forward to receiving that valuable feedback. Again, we thank our presenters and pretty much all our attendees for joining us live today. And I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next time. Thank you, everyone.